Hello, I am back. I am back from my wedding and my honeymoon. I've got some extra bling bling to go with my ring. And I'm very tan. Look at this tan line, like, oh my God. And it's not on the other side, which is a little annoying. I don't know how I managed that. I wanted to do a reading vlog with you and a little bit of a catch up on how life has been, how the wedding went, and how the honeymoon went. If you want to see the pictures, I definitely recommend checking out my Instagram. I will link it down in the description. It's always linked there so you can see like what I was up to on my honeymoon. And I haven't posted any wedding pics as of right now, as I'm filming this, but I plan to as more of the pictures come in, and I'm very excited. The videographer actually sent us a teaser video that I was really excited to share, but Chase and I decided to just kind of keep it to ourselves, which honestly I hate when people say that, but I might just like upload it unlisted. So if you're a friend of mine and you want to see it, just like let me know, and then I'll probably send you the link. So just a super quick update on the wedding stuff. So we had it down the Jersey Shore at this beautiful venue on a lake, and it was too cold to have it outside since it's March in New Jersey. So we had the ceremony inside, and I had an amazing time. Like, I was so nervous before walking down the aisle, not because I wasn't sure of my decision. I was very confident in my decision, but just like the public aspect of so many people, like just being there and wanting to celebrate with you, and just like the intensity and the buildup and the anticipation had my legs like shaking. But when I went down the aisle, I was bawling my eyes out. I read my vows first. Me and Chase wrote our own vows, and I like hysterically cried through all of them. Almost a little embarrassingly, but I was really proud of my vows. I was told that our vows had people in tears. I know my vows got some big laughs. Chase vows got a couple big laughs too. We were like on the same page with some of the funny comments we made in each of our vows. And it was just so amazing. I can't wait to see like the full vow recordings. I just want to like rewatch and relive the speeches, like my speech, Chase's speech, the best man speech, the maid of honor speech, and the father speeches, and just cherish them forever. And then for the honeymoon, we decided to go to Jamaica. Obviously, I talked about it a lot in one of my previous videos, and it was absolutely stunning. It felt so amazing to be on the island where so many of my family members lived. A lot of my family has migrated out of the island, but it just felt so special to be back there. And we did like the resort thing or whatever, and the resort was a little strange at times because it didn't feel like you were in Jamaica, besides like the people that work there and a couple spots on the resort. But there were a ton of excursions that you could go on and explore the island that way, and that really felt, you know, that really helped Chase and I feel more connected to this beautiful place. So we did like ATVing, we did a bamboo rafting adventure where they like did a limestone foot leg massage, and like 70% or something of the island is made of limestone. So they're just grabbing like limestone out of this great river, and we bought some. So I took a little bit of the island home with me. We did a couples massage, of course, like classic vacation honeymoon event. We also did a candlelit sunset dinner out on the water, like off the beach, and it was so beautiful. I have pictures of that on my Instagram. Definitely check them out. Maybe I'll put up pictures of some of these things as I say them to make it easier for you. We rented a cabana for one of the days, so it's like the cute little huts right on the beach with like the bed and the table and then the lounge chairs out in the sun, and you get like a butler kind of service, so someone is like dedicated to your cabana and they'll run and get you food and drinks or whatever. So that was fun. I mean, me and Chase are pretty low maintenance. We were just like ordering meals, but honestly, some of the people at these resorts can marathon drink. Like, you're drinking every day, because if you're not leaving the resort, that's like the main thing you do. So we drank every day, but like we were not marathoning it as much as some of these other people. Like they'd come with like their Stanley cups and fill those up at the bar, but to each their own. And then we met a couple around our age and we hung out with them for the last few days, like going out to dinner together on the resort and getting drinks and just hanging out, and it was a great time. We met a lot of really cool people. Oh, we also did a rum tour. So in Jamaica, like the rum industry really helped bolster the community. So specifically the Appleton Rum Company. And it was really interesting to like learn how rum is made. Like it's made from sugarcane. Like I had no idea. Like they squeeze it and then they take the molasses and then they distill it and then they like it's just sugarcane. Well, I mean, obviously like they put extra spices and stuff to make signature flavors and stuff, but like for the most part it's sugarcane. So that was cool to like be a part of, like squeezing them and stuff and like using the machines a little bit and just learning about it and trying the different sugarcane in its different forms throughout the process. And then on the rum tour we met this really lovely older couple who were so sweet to us. The woman was telling me about how she likes to get ornaments for her Christmas tree when she goes on vacations for the memories. So she got us like a keychain, which was so nice. And then traveling through the countryside, it's a little rough because we're in the countryside of Jamaica. So when they got back, we got a phone call saying like, hey, like that couple wants to offer you one of their excursions because they can't do it. Like it's just like, it was like too much for them. They were like celebrating their 54th anniversary. So I can understand their limitations. So it was an excursion to the YS Falls. So we gratefully accepted and we got to do that as well. So it was definitely intense. Like you're like climbing through the jungle, through these pools and waterfalls and stuff, but it was so awesome. Chase and I like jumped off this swing into the pool and it was pretty cool. It was very intense and awesome and beautiful. And we got lucky because the last couple days it started to rain in the afternoon, but when we were at the falls, it didn't start raining until after we left. And it was just a beautiful vacation, beautiful weather pretty much every day. And when we were at the cabana, it was like, the UV index was like at 11, which is extremely high. And it was also breezy, so it was a little deceiving when you're sitting out in the sun. So I sat out in the sun and got this tan line and got a bit sunburned. But we definitely got a lovely tan. So that's enough rambling for the catch-up stuff. But just know that I am so happy. Chase and I are so happy to be married. We lived up our honeymoon to the fullest, and we're just really appreciative and grateful that we have the means to do things like that. And we were just so grateful for all the people that were able to attend our wedding and wanted to celebrate with us. Like I just kept saying that. I'm like, I'm just literally so grateful that you are here and you want to celebrate with us and share the love with us. And it was just a perfect, beautiful day. Obviously I'm a little biased because it was my wedding, but I've been hearing around that a lot of people had a really amazing time and they can't stop talking about it. So yes, I will share more of the wedding stuff for sure on Instagram. So go check out my Instagram if you want to see more. Hi, it is a few days later. In the previous clips, you saw that I was reading this Stephen King book. This is Rose Matter. I'm reading this for my IRL book club here in my apartment building. So I finished this the other day, and let me tell you a little bit about it. So we have our heroine, Rose. She is in a very abusive marriage. She's been married to this man for like 14 plus years. She married him when she was like fresh out of high school, and he severely changed. He is a police officer, so he gets away with his abuses, and his coworkers like in the police force will like cover things up for him, and he's like abusive to other people in like, you know, the community. He's just a terror. He's horrible. Like he does very awful things to her. But early in this story, where like the main plot kicks off, Rose has finally had enough, and she just literally walks out the door. The only thing she takes is like the clothes on her back and the bank card that her husband left at home. so she can just like get some cash and run away. And when he finds out she's gone, he is absolutely livid and he's on a mission to find her. So that's what the story is about. Overall, I think I'd give this like a solid 3 stars. There is a little bit of romance in it. Obviously not with the husband, he is horrible, but with another man, as Rosie is building herself up and creating a new life for herself and becoming more independent and like literally seeing the world for the first time. Okay, and then in other book news, I've kind of got a lot going on. So I checked this book out like a while ago and I was planning on reading it at the end of March, which I've been doing. I'm a little over halfway through. So this is The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy. This is a fantasy romance. It's lighter on the romance side. I will say I got to my first like smutty scene and it's very PG-13. So if you like lighter romance, like this is a really good option. It's very like heavy on the world building. We're in this very fantastical world. Mercy is our female lead. She is an undertaker. She used to do like the clerical work. This is her family's business, but her dad has had like health problems and her brother, who's supposed to take over the business, isn't really interested in working with dead bodies. So Mercy is really like in charge of everything and it's a small family business, so they're struggling a little bit with like a larger company that is competing with them. And then Hart, he is a like kind of like a ranger. He like goes into this magical blocked off world that like requires portals to go through, and he is in charge of making sure these like undead beings don't hurt the civilians, but they hate each other. So like he brings in dead bodies to her, and then, you know, for whatever reason, they just got off on the wrong foot and hate each other. But you come to learn that Hart is quite lonely, and he ends up writing like a letter to an undisclosed friend. Like he doesn't have any friends really that he talks with, so he just like writes a letter and just puts it in the mailbox and hopes somebody responds, and it's a magical mailbox and Mercy gets the letter and they become like pen pals, not knowing that it's their like enemy. And that's like the premise of the story. So it's a cute, fun time. The world is cool to learn about. Mercy's really cool. Hart is really sweet and endearing. Like he's definitely like a grouchy character, but you learn like deep down he's just like really lonely and sad and been a bit traumatized in his past, and just with like people leaving or dying, and yeah, he just really needs some comfort, and it's very cute. So I'm having a fun time with this overall. I'm excited to get to it because I did get this off of Lexi's recommendation from Lexi's library, so I'm glad I'm finally picking it up. And then I just started the other night Blind Side by Candy Steiner. This is the second book in the Red Zone Rivals series. It is well loved on Romance BookTube here. Just like 5 stars across the board from the people I follow. So I'm very excited. I'm not gonna try to be like too biased and like have this weird expectation of like, oh my God, I need to love it, because then I definitely won't love it. The premise so far, from what I understand, is the main girl, I think her name is Gianna. She is, I guess she's a sophomore. I guess everybody's sophomore in college. She is like a part of the media team, so she helps the players like get their interviews done and like have good PR and like all this stuff. Like she works doing that. And then Clay, I think he's like a safety on the football team, and he just got dumped by his girlfriend who he's been with for 5 years. So like they grew up together, and all this stuff, and he thought he was gonna marry her. Obviously they're like childhood sweethearts, so he's devastated that they broke up, and he's being like really grumpy for good reason, but he's like not doing his media stuff well. Like he like went off on a reporter and stuff. So Gianna needs to get him in line. And that's where I am. I think there's supposed to be like fake dating in this as well, because Gianna's very innocent, but I don't know how that ties in yet. We're still really early. So I will probably finish that in this vlog as well. And then the last thing I'm like really tempted to pick up is this one, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's very short. It also has other tales in it. I did pick up the audiobook for my library because this book is on my self-destruct list. And if I don't read it by the end of the year, in theory, I'm supposed to get rid of it, but like, it's a classic. I don't want to get rid of it, so I just have to like commit to reading it. So I think the audios for some of the self-destruct books will really, really help. We have 3 books for this vlog that are so very unrelated. And I'll bring you along with me on the following days. So I do have some plans. I'm gonna do like a TV night with Monica tomorrow, probably here in my apartment. And then I'm meeting up with my cousins. I think it's gonna be the 2 of them. I'm not really sure. My one cousin is not very responsive, for dinner on Friday. One cousin I've literally never met before. She's a couple years younger than I am, but she lives in Canada. Her name's Kira, and yeah, I'm very excited to meet her. We like talk online a lot, and she does like her influencer stuff. I'll link her Instagram down below. She does like fashion and stuff. So very cool, very inspiring. And yeah, I think it'll be really nice to catch up with the cousins. And I forgot to mention that I am using this very handy box here. I ordered from Newly Named, obviously not sponsored. But when I was on vacation, one of the women that I met, Sarah, she was telling me about Newly Named, which is basically a service where you fill out part of your information and then they'll send you all the forms you need to do to change your name after getting married. So it's been super handy. It like spells everything out for you. It has clear directions and what order you need to do it. So I've already like done my Social Security appointment to change my name there, and then I'm making my DMV appointment. I have to do that on Friday, and I'm trying to figure out the passport stuff as well. We have a trip to DR in May, so I kind of really need to get that done as soon as possible. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. I'll link it down below as well. Again, I'm not associated with it, but it's something very, very handy if you might need to change your name soon. Hi, I'm just jumping on here really quick because I have been reading The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy, and this man Hart right here breaks my heart. He's just so like achingly like lonely and like so distant from like having a full life. Like he's just kind of scared to live, and the way Mercy like brings out these joyful feelings in him, and like just seeing how strongly he can feel, and like how heartbroken he is because he's messed up, because he's been keeping secrets from her for too long, which we saw coming from a mile away. She's pissed. So just seeing him be so heartbroken and sad, and like how strongly he loves her, and like he cries, and he cries hard, and like just a man crying because he feels so strongly, like just breaks my heart. So obviously it's a romance. I'm very confident it's gonna work out, but we just saw this like moment of conflict coming. I just didn't know when, and yeah. So I'm feeling for him, but I know he's gonna make it through. They're gonna make it through. So yeah, I'm still really enjoying this. It is a slower read for me. I have finished another book. I finished Blindside. I don't think I mentioned that in this vlog, but I picked that up and it was a really, really fun time. Would recommend, but we can talk about that when I look less a mess, and I'll continue updating you when I finish more books because I don't want this vlog to be too long. Hi, I am here to end this vlog. I actually started a new vlog already and I don't exactly remember where I left off with you. So I finished The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was a very sweet, like unique story. I would say, like I think I said this already, it's not the spiciest book, I'd say. It's like pretty tame, but just like the character, like Hart, he just broke my heart so much. I said it in my like middle of the night clip, but for him, 4 stars, you know what I mean? Just seeing how he was learning about himself and like his emotions, and like how empty he felt inside, and like how much joy Mercy brought into his life, and like her family, and it was just like such a heartwarming story. The only critique I have, but this is just due to my own ignorance, there's a lot of talk of like the Undertaking business and how Mercy's like working with these, you know, bodies and stuff like that and moving them around in her facility. That was really hard for me to like imagine because I just can't picture it because I just don't know anything about it. So like the descriptions for that I just couldn't picture. Like I just didn't know what was going on. But that's not a big deal. And then the fantasy aspects were really unique as well, and I had a good time with them. So yeah, like overall just a fun time, easygoing read. That will pull at your heartstrings for sure still though. And then I did mention that I wanted to commit to reading Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? So I was listening to the audio, but like the audio is just really hard for me to follow along with. And I don't want this video to be too long because it's probably a million minutes long already. So I'm not gonna finish it in this video anymore, but I did decide to switch to reading it with my eyes just because like the way it's written, I'm just not absorbing the information as well by listening. I kind of have to go slower. So I'm reading with my eyes and I'm enjoying it. It's a fun, it's an intriguing time. Like I kind of know the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but going and like trying to limit the knowledge I already know, like trying not to overlay what I assume onto the story is fun because I wanted to kind of unravel, because maybe my interpretation based on other media is wrong. And the mystery of it is kind of fun. So very intrigued with that, excited to see how this original classic is supposed to be told versus like the cartoon versions of it. It's in the same sense of like Frankenstein, you know, there's like the cartoon version and like what everybody thinks Frankenstein is about, and then there's like the real version, which is pretty much completely different. So yeah, I will finish that, but not in this vlog. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will catch you in another video. Bye.